So I mentioned on the last video that I need to do a bunch of work to this just to get it inspected, and I need to actually get it inspected to get it registered and insured. So we got a little process going on here, and I need to figure out just a few little things to get it inspected. Number one, it's going to need steps all the way around. They did fail me one time for that with a different truck, with my International actually. I just didn't have the step there and they failed me. I'm going to a different place, so I don't know if every place would fail you for the step not being there, but over on this side, this tank I took out of here, that was a hydraulic tank, and that held the steps through using the fuel tank straps. So we're gonna have to figure out something temporarily there, I think anyways. I don't want to bring it all the way there and figure out that they're gonna fail me for the steps. So these fuel tank straps need to be replaced. The other ones on the other side are not great, but they are working. I need to go through the brakes, make sure they're all good so I can pass inspection. I need to just in general do a thorough pre-check on this to make sure that everything's going to pass inspection. I also need to wire up some lights, which that should be all my lights right there. I need to put mud flaps on the back, and this is not great, so I need to figure out something for this. Tires are all good. I do have an air leak or two that I need to figure out. It's leaking pretty fast, so I don't think they're gonna pass it with that. But everything else will probably pass. It's definitely in rough shape, but we'll get that all fixed up. So the first thing I want to do is figure out this air leak. That's really annoying. It leaks pretty fast. And this system, it'll hold air in the secondary chamber, but the primary, it goes down pretty fast. So I'm already down to 60 pounds right now. And once it gets down to 60 pounds, it stops leaking and you can't hear anything anymore. So I gotta get this pumped up again. As soon as it goes over 60 pounds, then it will leak again. Really am loving this truck though. Definitely looking forward to this. This truck had 3 batteries in it. Actually it had 4, but I think the 4th one was for the inverter. And I only have 1 battery in it right now and it starts it up. So it starts pretty easily. It's at 120 pounds, so most governors are set around 120, so let's go check this leak out. The annoying sound is the tank itself, but it's actually leaking somewhere up underneath here. Okay. Yeah, I hear it right here. Okay. So that is actually the cab leveling valve. See, sometimes you can just kind of fiddle with these and they stop leaking. Oh, that arm broke right off of there. Huh. Well, I guess that stopped the leaking, but now it's not going to level the cab. Huh. I don't know why. That valve right there. I don't think they're going to fail me for that, so maybe I'll just keep it disconnected. So I guess that leak is good for now. just to get it inspected anyways. But there is another leak that I heard up in the engine bay. Let's see what that's about. Okay, that was one of them. A lot of times you can just play with the connections and they'll stop leaking. This one I might need to just take it out and reconnect it. See, by pulling on it I can make it completely stop. So it's probably just a matter of, I don't really want to do it while there's a lot of pressure in here, so we'll come back to that. But I do hear another one right here. Let's see. Sometimes if you want to pinpoint an air leak, you just sort of block where you think it might be, and if the sound changes, then you know it's behind there. If it doesn't, then you got to keep searching. Of course, this one is leaking as well, so it's hard to hear it. Once you got the general vicinity of where the leak is, then you can start spraying some soapy water. Huh, it sounds like it's right there, but the soapy water is telling me otherwise. Okay. Huh, it's coming out of this little valve body right here. Okay, yep, now I can hear it. Yeah, whatever this is, there's a gasket in between it and it's leaking. I don't want to soak this thing completely in brake parts cleaner because I don't know if there's some internal parts that might not like that or something. So we'll just sort of gently put some on the outside, and then what I've been finding works pretty well for cleaning off stuff like this is just letting it sit for a little bit with this brake parts cleaner and then just taking an air gun to it. That seems to work pretty good. It sprays stuff all over the place, but it really does a good job. That bolt's gonna snap. Oh, maybe not. Well, I thought there would have been a gasket underneath here, but I think this is actually what seals it, and it doesn't really seem like there's anything wrong with it. I think it might need to just be cleaned up, because it was leaking out of the body here. I don't think it's supposed to do that, but maybe. I don't see why that wouldn't seal it up. It's kind of weird. Not really sure what to think of this. I guess since it only takes a minute to take it off, I'll put it back on, and if it works, it works, and if not, I'll try to find a new one. So my favorite pneumatic and hydraulic sealer. So before I put air back in the system, let's try to figure out what's leaking there. I know it's the fitting itself, but it might be possible I can cut some of that hose off and put it back on, and then it might work, but I don't know. It seems like the fitting. What are you doing, boy?
I knew that you were get it.
What are you doing up here?
Okay. Can I try it?
Yeah. Look at that. Now you can see over the dash. Alright, so that did not fix this, and it's Sunday right now, so I'm not going to be able to do anything right now, but at least we know what we're working with, and at least we got the major leak fixed, which was back in the back there, the cab leveler. But yeah, that thing's leaking pretty good. I don't know why. Doesn't make sense. I sprayed down all the other hoses in here and nothing else was leaking at all. I gotta get the top strap off of this right hand side here, and there's just no way that you guys are gonna be able to see that, but basically there's a pin in there and you just gotta punch it out. And I believe the way these pins work is that they're kind of bent, so when you put them in there they're almost like spring loaded, and that's how they stay in there. So this one is stainless steel, so hopefully that should last a lot longer than the other ones. I don't know why they don't just make them all in stainless steel, but it was only like, I don't know, $5 more. So I don't think I even need to tell you guys this, but obviously that's just temporary, and I want everything to be spotless when I'm done with this truck, but that's a ways down the road from here. I want to take that tank back off. I want to strip the paint all off of it, repaint it, repaint these steps, repaint everything When I'm done with this truck, there shouldn't be a speck of rust anywhere. But for right now, I need to get this thing inspected because it's holding everything up. And it's nice that it's got this little pull-out step here, because I know we're going to need this, because this truck is probably going to come up another 6 to 8 inches. So 3 steps to get into the truck. And that's like, I don't know, 16 inches, and that's like maybe 14 inches, so it's not even a normal step. The cab right now sits about 3.5 feet off the ground, so we're gonna be 4 feet off the ground when we're done. You know what, I just read the entire checklist for a heavy duty inspection in New York, and I can't see a thing on there about steps. It's got 1 step, so I don't see how they could fail me for it, honestly. I don't know how they did it before, but I remember on my international truck, my older one, I was missing the top step because it was the top of the battery box and I just had it off, and they failed me for it. I was like, I'll just put it on and you can pass me. But maybe they were just totally wrong about that. So I guess for right now, I'm just gonna leave that. I'm not gonna go through welding up a bunch of stuff just to have a step that I don't need there. So right now, I'm gonna go through and just inspect the brakes real quick. You can see I got plenty of shoes there. The minimum is 1/4 inch, and there's always a little line. I don't know if you can really see it, but there's a line that's 1/4 inch, so you can see clearly I got over 1/2 inch there. Just inspecting for any cracks or missing bolts, anything like that. Doesn't appear that I have anything like that. These air brakes are supposed to have no more than 1 inch of travel. Crusty stuff there. That's all just grease. I don't know why there'd be so much grease. So there's about 1/2 inch of play. You can have no more than 1 inch, so that's good to go. That's about 1/2 inch too, so that's good to go. So on the front, that's about 1/2 inch. So the front passenger side, about 1/2 inch on that one too. And the shoes look like they got plenty of life left, about 5/8 of an inch. No cracks, no missing bolts. Brakes look okay. Crusty, but okay. Power steering box, not leaking. Not too much excessive play on the steering shaft. Actually, on the steering shaft there's zero play. The only little bit of play is in the steering box, but that's acceptable. Don't really see anything else wrong with the steering. Tie rods are fine. Kingpin is fine. Shock is fine. Shock over here is fine. It's not leaking. That's really all they care about. Tires are good. No fuel leaks. Sunset. Check. So I think we're just down to mud flaps, lights, and then this battery box. And only because it's completely rotted out, and when you step on it, it kind of wants to collapse. So let's throw another battery in here, and I guess we'll just temporarily kind of put some sort of support in here. Okay, low beams, hazard lights, low beams, hazard lights, side marker, clearance lights. It's not going to be anything on the back. I'm just checking the front for now. Check high beams. See how you put those on. Okay, high beam. High beams are out. Well, on that other side they are. This one they're good. Okay, so I need a high beam. Right. Actually, it doesn't look like they should be out. Low beam, high beam. Huh. Well, I guess we need a new one. Well, you should be able to keep going.
Okay.
Good. Perfect.
Chinese ratchet.
Chickadee China, the Chinese ratchet. Huh. Chickadee China, the Chinese ratchet.
Get through one click and it never ever ratchets.
This is going really hard. All right, so tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, I got an inspection, so I got this all loaded up tonight. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see the footage for this or not, because when I recorded this, the files ended up corrupt, so a lot of this got lost. But I temporarily put some lights there, Got a reverse light, a license plate light. I got the 3 clearance lights right there. I got a side marker. Side marker, 2 lights. Yeah, they're zip tied on, but this is just temporary. So mud flaps. I welded this on here to give this some extra support. Got an extra battery in here. Got my high beam fixed. The only thing I got to do tonight is just run and grab some windshield wipers. And tomorrow morning, we're gonna get this thing inspected. Whether it passes or not, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it will. Good news, got an inspection. That's a pretty big step in this whole process, so let's get this thing home and let's do some celebratory work. Guys, how cool is it that you got these little windows right here? So I've been working on my garage lately, which has been pretty much the most important thing I've been doing. But today's kind of an oddball day, and I figured it'd be a good day to scrap all this stuff. The one problem I have is that I do want to save this part of the frame, which I don't know if you can see it, but I decided I wanted to do a frame drop behind the cab because when I put this truck up on four-wheel drive axles, it's going to raise it up a lot. So to keep the back of the truck at the same height it is now, I can do a drop frame right behind the cab, but in order to do that I need more frame. So I got like 6 feet of frame there that I can cut out. It's going to take a little bit of work, but I'm going to use the plasma cutter and just chop everything up. So I want to do that before I scrap this. So I need to take this back over to where we took it off next to my old garage, and we're going to chop this up so I can get this frame out, and then we're going to take the rest of this and scrap it. Now I guess we got to punch them out. I think this needs to be chiseled down a little bit.
Yeah, let me put it on the grinder, the bench top grinder. stuck in there.
Good.
He's not gonna fall on me.
This thing is going nowhere. I'm gonna have a really hard time just even getting it out. tilt the forks forward. It's caught up on that. Let it down. All right. Get it more towards the front. I would just lift up on the lip of that, on the flange of that beam. Or you could just lift up right there. So we're all loaded up, strapped down, ready to go to the scrapyard. Kind of did a little damage to my trailer though. I got this right here, and then I broke the boards right there. And this is the rest of the stuff here. I know a lot of people are going to hate me for this, but this crane is going by. By the time I figure out the electronics and the big box that houses all the controls and all the hydraulics, and also it's like cracked in a couple places and it's just rotted out. I'm sure I could fix it up, but do I have the time? Not anytime soon. So it'll just be laying around, just rusting away more and just making things junky. I'm trying to get things out of here. I got too much stuff. So although it doesn't bring much scrap value, I could sell it and then I could wait forever for somebody to pick it up, and it's just laying around. So I'm just gonna get rid of it. So I'm hoping we got about 10,000 pounds. That'll be about $1,000 worth of scrap, but let's see. $950 for that, so pretty close to what I thought. What you doing, Pearl?
Hey, what you do? I bet, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Alright, so good news, I just got this registered. Wasn't sure if they were going to give me some problems or not, because coming from a dealer, there's a lot of different paperwork that I've never dealt with before, and it was pretty strange to me. But everything went good. And to register this, I thought it was going to be $600 or $700, because that's what my dump truck is. But this one only turned out to be $175. Now, I did downgrade the GVW on it for now to $25,000 instead of $33,000. So that did make a little bit of a difference, but I don't think it made that much of a difference. Maybe just telling them that it was a flatbed made some difference, I don't know, but either way, I'm really happy with that. It's pretty cheap. So at this point, the next thing I want to do with this truck is just take it for a cruise without all the stuff on the back. So I'm going to take the family out and we're going to go cruise around a little bit. I got to go to the store. So we'll see how this does. Put a little air in your seat, it won't, like if you raise it up a little bit, it has air shocks on your seat. Look, see.
I don't.
You feel safe.
What?
Bump.
Why don't we have air shocks?
Do you want this as a daily driver?
No, we don't.
Yes, but babe, first of all, it's going to have a bed on it. Right now it has no weight on the rear, so the suspension is extremely stiff because there's no weight on it. It'll drive like a Cadillac once it has some weight on it. Also, I'm going to put airbags on it, which will greatly reduce speed. So in other words, if you don't have a load in the bed, you put the airbags, loosen up the airbags, and then it's going to drive like a Cadillac.
Okay, but better. Dad, stop messing with the radio. Now you're making it sound a little static.
As you promised me that I was more than that gets in my head. I don't care, I think it's hundred. I said what they said. I'd rather.
Alright guys, so we took this on about a 20-mile round trip to town and back, and it did pretty good. Like I said, the biggest complaint was that it's just really bumpy. The other thing that I need to fix right away is the fact that the heat stays on and you can't switch it to cold. The AC might work, but it won't turn to cold, so I think maybe a flapper door or maybe a fuse is bad or something, because it was just blowing hot air no matter what setting you had it on, and it was just really hot in there even when the window's down. So I got to figure that out. Kids really liked riding it though. I really like driving it. It is extremely bumpy, but that's because first of all there's no weight in the back, and second of all there's really no shocks on the back either. So that's definitely not going to help anything, because having no shocks or no airbags, you're just relying on the springs and there's no weight on it. Yeah, you can imagine it's pretty bumpy. The front has shocks. I don't know how well they work, but they were good enough for inspection, so I didn't change them yet. But yeah, we definitely got a lot of work ahead of us to get this thing all dialed in, but we're going to take it one step at a time. In the next video, I'm probably going to do the axles swap, and also this one side over here has 2 more leaf springs than this side. I think it's because they had the crane mounted over here. That's the only thing I can think of, because it doesn't look like they broke and they took them out. It looks like it's been like that forever. So up here there's 5 over here, and over here in this little hanger here there's 7. So there's 2 more on this side, so it makes the truck sit lopsided. I don't know if you can really see that or not, but yeah, so it sits lopsided. But I am looking forward to bringing this axle up. My plan right now is to do a drop frame in the back, is to chop the frame right there and then take this frame and go underneath of this frame and then put a plate on it. You see that a lot with 4-wheel drive trucks. It's basically to keep the same height once you put the 4-wheel drive axle in, because the front axle on these trucks, the solid axle, is like a U-shaped. So when you put the 4-wheel drive axle in, it's a straight axle, so you don't have that drop down anymore. So it's going to raise the front like 8 inches or so. So the back, you either need to raise it up 8 inches to match, or you can do a drop frame where you basically take this frame and put it below that other frame, and then you put a plate between them. That Freightliner up top is like that. That 4-wheel drive, the yellow one, is like that. So I'm gonna make it easy and do the drop frame right here, and all that means basically is that the frame will still be very high right here, like it'll come up to here, but then back behind that it'll be low again. And having it high right here is fine, because I'm gonna put a toolbox assembly here, so it just means that it'll be a little bit higher, and I'll just drop it down on the sides. That's fine, that's no big deal. But I saved the other frame that I took off of the scrap that I took here, and what I'm going to do is basically this whole axle and everything, the frame and everything's going to go forward about 30 inches, and then I'm going to add on the frame back here behind the wheels, so that way the frame is not chopped between the 2 axles, which would be the safest way to do it, because if there was ever a failure, it would be behind here. And I also got thinking about it. I don't think I'm going to do a dump bed anymore on this. I was going to do a dumping flatbed, but I don't think I'm going to go that route anymore. I'm not totally sure, but I'm thinking that it's just more trouble than it's worth, because having the ability to dump means that it needs to be worth it, which I don't know if I'm ever really going to use it for that. So I don't know if there's a point in doing all that work, which makes it a lot easier to get where I'm going with this, a lot less work. So that's something that I can check off the list, I think. Unless you guys tell me I should put one on there. Some people were saying I should put one of those hook and loop beds on here, but those things are really expensive, and I just don't think that I need the use to do that. This is not like a work truck, this is more like a travel truck, so it's more meant for towing than anything else. So I don't think that I want to go that route either. I think I just want a nice toolbox with a fuel dispensing ability and a flatbed And I think that's really it. I definitely want some boxes underneath of here to store more tools. I'm really looking forward to bringing that axle up because the turning radius on this is really bad. My Freightliner is so much better, but that's because the axles are spread out more on this truck. But I think the Freightliner just has a better turning radius anyways, but I'm still happy with this truck. So we'll see where the next video takes us, but the good thing is now I have that garage to pull stuff into. Even though it's not done, it's weatherproof enough to pull this truck in there, so if I want to do some major work, I can definitely do that in there. So we'll see where the next video brings us, and I don't think I need a fancy outro, so I'll see you guys on the next one.